Hey everyone, so today we're diving into the mind of someone you probably know as a Nobel Prize-winning poet. But what if I told you he was also a total revolutionary when it came to education? We're talking about a guy who didn't just write beautiful verses. He wanted to tear down the classroom walls, and it all started with one big question.
And that question is this: what if school wasn't about cramming your head full of facts, but about, figuring out your actual place in the universe? Just think about that for a second. This one question drove him to challenge literally everything people thought they knew about education.
So, this is the man himself, Rabindranath Tagore. Now, he was born back in 1861 into a really well-off, culturally vibrant family in Kolkata. You'd think he'd love learning, and he did, but he hated school. He actually felt like it was a prison, totally dull, joyless, and completely cut off from real life. And that feeling, that personal experience, is really what planted the seed for a full-blown educational revolution.
All right, so let's get into his vision, a vision that went way beyond the walls of a traditional classroom.
Yeah, to him, the schools of his day were basically prisons. They just stifled all the natural curiosity and joy out of kids. He saw this whole system, all the bookish learning and boring lectures, as just a factory that churned out students who could repeat information, sure, but couldn't think for themselves or feel any real connection to the world. And for Tagore, that just wasn't education. Not at all.
Okay, so to really get what he was trying to build, we have to understand the philosophy behind it all. This is the heart of his entire project.
It all comes down to this idea called Vishwa Bodh Darshan. Now, that might sound complicated, but the core idea is actually beautiful. Drawing from ancient Indian philosophy, Tagore believed that everything, and I mean everything, from a tiny speck of dust to the most distant star, is all part of one single, interconnected, divine whole.
So here's the key takeaway. He saw two types of knowledge, and both were equally important. On one hand, you've got your physical world knowledge, science, facts, logic. But just as important was spiritual knowledge, the ability to feel that unity, to experience love, and to truly see how you're connected to everything. He believed the ultimate goal of life was to experience this incredible oneness.
And this quote from him just nails it, doesn't it? The highest education is that which makes our life in harmony with all existence. It wasn't about landing a good job or being successful in some narrow sense. Nope. For him, it was about finding this deep, profound harmony between yourself and the entire universe.
So that's the big idea. But how on earth do you take a grand spiritual philosophy like that and turn it into an actual school? Well, let's dig into how Tagore actually put these ideas into practice.
Tagore's goal was nothing less than the complete development of a person. He broke it down into these 7 areas. It wasn't just about being smart intellectually. A student also had to be developed physically, socially, culturally and internationally, morally, vocationally, meaning skilled with their hands, and of course, spiritually. It was truly about educating the whole person, not just the brain.
And you can see this holistic vision reflected right in the curriculum. His university, Visva Bharati, wasn't divided up into these rigid, separate departments. Instead, it mixed everything together: arts and music, humanities, science and agriculture, even rural industries and crafts. It was designed to be a place where students could explore every single facet of what it means to be human.
But, having a wide-ranging curriculum is one thing. The real revolution, the part where Tagore really shattered the old model, was in how these subjects were taught.
This slide just lays it out so clearly. On one side, you have the old way, bookish, lecture-based, forcing kids to learn in English, a language that wasn't their own, and using punishment to keep them in line. And then you have Tagore's method, learning through your own experience, freedom to think for yourself, using your own mother tongue, and discipline, that came from love and respect, not fear.
So these were basically the ground rules for his teachers. And their job was not to be a jail warden, as he put it. It was to be a guide. The number one most important thing: spark their curiosity first. Get them motivated. After that, learning would just happen, naturally, through real activities and first-hand experience. No harsh control, just love and sympathy.
And the environment itself was a huge part of the teaching method. It's no accident that he founded his school, Shanti Niketan, which means abode of peace, way out in the countryside, far from the noise of the city. Classes were often held right outside, under the trees. The idea was that students could learn directly from nature itself, from its rhythms and its beauty.
So this was a pretty radical experiment, right? The big question is, did it work?
Let's take a look at the enduring legacy of these ideas, born over a century ago, and see what they mean for us today.
No, the proof is right there in its incredible growth. That tiny little school he started with just 5 students, it didn't just survive, it bloomed. It grew into Visva Bharati, a major central university that pulls in students and scholars from all over the world. It's a powerful testament to his vision.
And his influence goes way beyond just that one campus. So many of the ideas that were totally revolutionary back then are things we kind of take for granted now. The importance of teaching kids in their own language, making sure arts, crafts, and music are part of school, promoting education for everyone, including women and people in rural areas. All of these are echoes of Tagore's pioneering work.
And that brings us to a final, really important question for our own time. In a world that's so focused on data, on metrics, on standardized tests, are we maybe forgetting Tagore's lesson? Are we losing sight of the goal of educating the whole person, mind, body, and soul? It makes you wonder, have we forgotten that the real point of education might just be to bring our entire life into harmony with all of existence?